Welcome to another Pokemon adventure. I'm Espy, and today we are talking about a big master plan that I think Game Freak has spent the last 9 years or more creating, and at the end I will discuss a huge hint that I think they sneakily put in the Scarlet and Violet announcement trailer to help demonstrate their plan. So what is the big plan that Game Freak is working on? Well, I think that much like how Kanto and Johto are incredibly intertwined in the Pokemon narrative and lore, Game Freak is working on recreating that magic. Not just with Generation 8 and 9, but with 3 Pokemon generations. Generation 6, Generation 8, and Generation 9. Going back to Kanto and Johto, these regions are the first and only regions that are physically connected until now. Separated by Mount Silver, as many YouTubers have already pointed out, the Pokemon Company has since made a point to keep the regional locations vague and, more importantly, disconnected. But why would they do this? Well, this makes it to where you can keep things in the same universe, but not have to make overarching narratives that connect game to game. However, if Generation 9 follows real-world geography like Kanto and Johto do, then this new region will likely be physically connected to the Kalos region from Generation 6, due to the fact that this new region is likely based on the Iberian Peninsula, which is connected to the country of France, which Kalos is based on. We can also see that the Kalos map has a mountain to its southern border, much like a real-world country, France. And what is on the other side of that mountain range in France? The Iberian Peninsula. Not to mention the fact that the real-world location that the Galar region is based on, the United Kingdom, is also extremely close to France, aka Kalos, and this new region, aka the Iberian Peninsula. If they wanted to make a narrative between 3 regions, it would be extremely easy to do so between Kalos, Galar, and this new region. And it would make complete sense given the geographical proximity of these regions. I know I'm not the first YouTuber to cover how close all these regions are, but it's worth saying as it's building to a point. Now let's talk about another piece of evidence that these games may all be connected in an overarching narrative. Pokemon is known for its use of third entries, or games that utilize the story of a game released just prior and expands upon the narrative of that entry in the franchise. You all know what I'm talking about. Red and Blue have Yellow, Diamond and Pearl have Platinum, X and Y have... Wait a minute, that was a bad example, sorry. What I meant was, Sword and Shield have... Oh wait, I guess that one doesn't have a third entry either. But wouldn't that leave a bunch of loose ends and unexplained storylines in those games that never got expanded upon? Yes it would. Unless you are telling a multi-regional overarching narrative that involves several regions to create one large story. I find it rather odd that the 2 regions that share geographic proximity to the region in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet didn't get a third version, when the generation between them did, with Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. There is a real possibility that these were left this way intentionally to tell a larger story down the road. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button to let me know if you enjoy this Pokemon theory. Now let's talk about some of the most important evidential pieces of this overarching story by looking at what ties Galar and this new region together specifically. First off, on Route 6 in Pokemon Sword and Shield, we have a woman that is clearly speaking Spanish, and beyond that states she is from a different region and not from Galar. This woman could very well be a trainer from the new region in Generation 9 where people would speak that language in the Iberian Peninsula. This shows that much like how we see lots of Kanto trainers in Johto, we can expect to see Galar trainers in Generation 9 and vice versa. And for the final piece of evidence, while watching the Scarlet and Violet reveal trailer for the 120th time, I noticed something interesting. When we get to this point right about here, we can see something incredibly interesting, but it needs a little backstory. When Sword and Shield came out, Pokemon fans were extremely quick to take notice of the fact that Galar had its own Pokemon language. Many people talked about it and some even tried to translate it, although it seems that it didn't lead anywhere. We thought it may be the new language of Pokemon, but that language quickly disappeared when Legends Arceus did not utilize the same language. Except for the case of the board in Laventon's office, but that is explained and mentioned in my video where I talk about champions with ties to the Hisui region. Longtime listeners will know that I love language and etymology. So it should come as no surprise that when I saw a written language in the Scarlet and Violet trailer, I went to work. I quickly noticed that we had seen the language on this sign before. It is the same language used in the entirety of the Galar region. This perfectly demonstrates that the region that we are being introduced to in Generation 9 is directly tied to the Galar region. So much so that they even share a language. Will this language finally be translated for fans in Generation 9? Will we see why these two regions share a language in this game? Unfortunately, only time will tell with that one. Looking at all this, we can see that it could be very likely that we see ties into both Galar and Kalos in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Maybe we will even get to revisit one of those regions in this game. I, for one, will be very excited to revisit the Kalos region and hope that Game Freak takes advantage of this geographical location. But what do you think? Do you think Game Freak is trying to create an overlapping narrative story between two or all three of these regions? Or do you think Generation 9 will put Kalos and Galar in the rear view? Let me know what you think in the comments. We will finish off with the comment of the week. This week's comment comes from Luap. While not every Pokemon got a 10 out of 10 on my video where I began rating every Pokemon in existence, I still do love Pichu, and the Pichu Bros here on YouTube, Luap and Starmeister. Definitely go check out these amazing channels, their links will be in the description below. If you liked this theory on the Pokemon universe, then check this one out where I tell you what could very well be the most dangerous Pokemon in existence. But that will do it for us this time, and I will catch you next time when the adventure continues.